Welcome back to In the Kitchen with Grace. I am working on a pre-Easter dinner for our family. We always go travel for a family Easter dinner, and then there's never any leftovers. So every year we do our own Easter dinner ahead of time. That way we can enjoy our own Easter meal and have those yummy ham and cheesy potato leftovers. So I am going to do glazed ham steaks today, and we're going to do cheesy potatoes. Sometimes people call them funeral potatoes, but I'm doing a smaller batch version. And then we are going to do some seasoned roasted asparagus to go with it. I'm going to start with the cheesy potatoes. You can use cubed style or regular hash brown style. And because I am just making this for our family only, I'm only going to do about 3 to 4 cups of the potatoes. I'm going to put all of the ingredients and the directions in the description below, along with a link for you to pin and save these recipes. We are going to add in 1 can of cream of chicken soup. I'm going to share with you a little secret to extra cheesiness in your potatoes. We like to use a little bit of canned nacho cheese sauce. You could use the plain cheese sauce as well. And I'm going to put in about a cup or so. And then we are going to add in about a cup of sour cream. We're gonna add in half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and honestly, I'm just gonna kind of sprinkle a little bit in. If you want to measure it out, that's totally fine. I'm gonna also add in some salt, some black pepper, probably about half a teaspoon or so of each. And then I have 3/4 of 1 stick of butter, and I have kind of sliced it and diced it up into smaller pieces. You want your butter to be melting evenly throughout your cheesy potatoes as they bake. We are going to bake our cheesy potatoes at 350 degrees for about a half hour. You want the cheese on the top to be nice and bubbly and melted, and you want to make sure that it's all the way cooked through on the inside of your cheesy potato casserole. We're going to give this a nice mix. All right, and I'm going to put a cup of shredded cheddar cheese into the cheesy potatoes. Mix that in quick. We're gonna grab our baking dish, which I've already pre-sprayed with cooking spray. We are going to put these right in, and then we're gonna cover the top with more shredded cheese, about a half a cup or so. Perfect. If you want to, you could add some crunched up cornflakes to the top of your cheesy potatoes. I have some picky eaters and they're not fans of it on top, even though I like it, so I'm gonna leave it off today. We're gonna put this into the oven and we're gonna get started on the ham. All right, let's get started on our cherry glaze for our ham. I am going to link to my apricot and my brown sugar maple ham glazes, but this cherry glaze is by far my favorite. It is phenomenal. This will have your family going, what on earth did you put in our Easter ham? It is so good. You have to try this recipe for ham the next time you make it and serve it for your family and friends. That reminds me though, if you have, because we only used about 1/3 of this can of nacho cheese, this goes great to make a plate of nachos for watching game night or something, a movie on TV with your family. Perfect for nachos. And it also goes really good in my Southern crock pot macaroni and cheese recipe. I will link to that as well. Another awesome, delicious side dish or main course that you could make. Okay, so I will put the ingredients to this in the description below, along with the link to the other glaze recipes for you to try. I have some sour cherry jam. You could use regular cherry. I picked this up at Aldi's. It's a fun Aldi's find. And I am going to use about 1/2 cup. Now I am doing a ham steak, large ham steak. So if you are doing a great big family ham, you may want to double this recipe. Just so a heads up there. And then we are going to do about a 1/4 cup of honey. I ain't even getting out the measuring spoons. We're just eyeballing this. About a 1/4 cup or so. You want about a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. If you've got the real deal, use it. Otherwise, the fake maple syrup works just fine. And then we are going to do about 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. If you've got fresh lemons, use those. I feel a little lazy today. I have real lemons, friends, but I'm just using the squeeze bottle. It's okay if you're not quite on measurement-wise. This is just a glaze. You don't need it to be exact. And then we need about a tablespoon of cornstarch. Perfect. We're gonna give this a nice mix. You really wanna get it blended together nicely. If you have got a splash of bourbon in your house, put a splash right into this. I promise you it makes it 10 stars instead of 5 stars. And we rate things on 5 stars. All right, grab my ham steak. Told you it was a big one. All right, and we are going to just kind of slather this all over our ham steak. If you're putting it on your regular ham, if you've got that spiral sliced ham, open up the ham, let it drizzle on down in there. Oh, this is gonna be so good. Our house is gonna smell amazing. Okay, then we're gonna get going on the seasoned asparagus. We're gonna put this into the oven. Again, I am making the cheesy potatoes at 350 degrees. You do what you want in your oven. I'm gonna slow cook my ham. So I'm probably going to check it every about 20 minutes, and then about 10 minutes later when I'm pulling out my cheesy potatoes. This is a thick ham steak. Again, if you're doing a big spiral round steak, cook it or bake it according to the directions that it came with. But that is your cherry glaze recipe, friends. All right, I got my dish for our asparagus. I was supposed to do sheet pan pork and roasted vegetables. Never got to. We got too busy. And I've got this asparagus that's been sitting in the freezer. If you have fresh asparagus, that's even better. Perfect. Always use fresh. Love using things fresh from the garden. However, I need to use these up, and so I thought it would pair perfectly with our cheesy potatoes and our ham for dinner tonight. I am going to drizzle some light olive oil onto our asparagus. This kind of helps them get a little bit crispy, and it also adds a little bit of flavor. You don't need too much. And then we are going to sprinkle a little pepper, a little sea salt, and I've got some garlic Parmesan seasoning. This particular one really is like aromatic. It smells so good. We use this on everything, all sorts of roasted vegetables like zucchini and carrots, some squash for putting that into the oven. Originally, this is what I was going to put on our sheet pan dinner that I never got to. Speaking of dinners, I will link to our dinner playlist as well, because I have oodles of easy weeknight meals for you to make for your family. I am sprinkling fresh Parmesan, shredded Parmesan cheese onto our asparagus. And then we are going to sprinkle a little bit of fresh lemon juice on top. It doesn't take a lot. You don't want it to be too citrusy. I'm only using half of a fresh lemon. It's probably about a teaspoon total if you're using lemon juice out of the little container. All right, we are going to bake these also at the 350 degrees. I'm going to keep an eye on it. It's probably going to be about 17 minutes or so for my oven. You want your asparagus to be nice and soft, but you also kind of want to have a slight crispness to it. I will show you guys what this whole entire dinner looks like when it is all finished. Stick around. Here are the cheesy potatoes. We have the Parmesan lemon asparagus and our cherry glazed ham steak. Thank you all so much. Thank you for sharing this recipe with your family and friends. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.